Hi everyone, my name is Jericho and this is the updated version of my Surf and Hot Rod music collection. So if you missed the first one, I uploaded a video about a couple years ago and you can see the link here, but I'm going to be going over the same albums and there's a lot more new ones in this video, so don't feel like you're missing out on anything over there. The first album is Surfin' Hootenanny by Al Casey, and this one is an original 1963 press on bluish green translucent vinyl, which is really cool. Very hard album to find, and it's in stereo, so I'm really grateful that I was able to pick up a copy of this for considerably less than $300, which is what it usually goes for. Annette Funicello, Beach Party in stereo. This has got a really cool back cover on it. I like it when they put the back covers in color because it just adds to the fun of the whole record. Muscle Beach Party by Annette Funicello also got a really good full color back cover with a hot rod thing there and some surfboards. Great album as well. It's got some songs by Brian Wilson and Gary Usher on it. Annette Funicello, Bikini Beach. My other copy had a bunch of stains on it, so I got a new one, and this one is in shrink wrap still. So the gatefold still hasn't been opened, so I haven't seen what it looks like in there, but I'm really excited about this one. This is a good one. Golden Surfing Hits. This has a little bit of residue on the cover there, but this has got a song by the Beach Boys on it, backing her up, and the cool back cover there. So this is a good album. So I usually just collect surf and hot rod music. I don't collect all the Ventures records because not all of them are surf and hot rod related. I made an exception for this. This is by a group called the Angels. It's got one song on it called You Can't Take My Boyfriend's Woody, which is about a hot rod. And then there's one more song on here by Jan Barry. He co-wrote it, and he also did the producing on that song. It's called I Adore Him. So I thought that was enough reason to get this one and add it to the collection. Apache 65 by the Arrows, I think from probably 1965. I got this one sealed. I've since opened it. I've only played it twice, and it's just beautiful. It's really cool to say that you were the first one to play it on like a 50-year-old record, so that's really fun. I'm glad I got this one. Surfing with the Astronauts in stereo. Competition Coupe. This has got one of the greatest album covers ever. It's got some 32 Fords on there, all painted up, and I just love this album. Ski Surfing by the Avalanches. I can't tell you how much I love this record. This is fantastic. You should get this one. Surfing USA, Surfer Girl, Little Deuce Coupe, Beach Boys Concert, All Summer Long, Shutdown. This is a great album. A lot of car songs. Volume 2. Summer Days and Summer Nights. I did have a copy of this last time I made this video, but I didn't show it because it was on a tour bus and it got stolen. Beach Boys Party. Beach Boys' Biggest Hits from 1969. This is kind of a weird compilation from Canada. What is a Young Girl Made Of? Barbie and Judy. This is the first time those three tracks have been on an album. And it's just, if you want alternate mixes and stuff, this has an alternate mix of Surfer Girl, and it's just kind of an interesting album. Speaking of interesting albums, this one's from Germany called Surf Beat Fun, and it's got kind of a weird picture on the back I haven't seen before. The Blasters, Sounds of the Drags. This one is in not very good condition. It's in stereo, though it is kind of hard to find these in good condition because they're just budget albums, and the masters weren't even that great, so these never sound good, even if you got a good condition one. Surf Crazy by Bob Vaught and the Renegades. I got this for $4. It's a great album for $4. This is Surfer's Pajama Party by the Bruce Johnston Surfing Band. This is a good album. I'll talk more about that later. Since last time I picked up this is KRLA King of the Wheels by Bobby Fuller 4. This was supposed to be a surf and hot rod album, but it kind of got mismanaged somewhere along the way, and it's like half hot rod songs and half just kind of mid-60s Midwest kind of songs. So this is their first album. Good one to find. This is West Coast Action Sound by the Buddies. It's a pretty good album. It's got like vocal numbers on it, but the mixes are really weird. There's a lot of reverb on just everything. Drums, vocals, piano. It just sounds really muddy, but if you can get past that, it's actually a pretty good album. So I can't tell you how much I love this album. This is Surfer's Beat by Calvin Cool and the Surf Knobs. This album does not get a lot of love, but it is just one of the greatest instrumental surf albums in my opinion, and I've heard a lot of them. And this one's in stereo. I actually got I had a mono copy, but I traded it in for a stereo one, just because I just loved it so much. So I'd highly recommend checking this one out. This is the Catalina's Fun, or Fun, or maybe just Fun. I'm not sure which one. This is the original from RI Industrial Recordings from 1964, and Capitol made a repress on orange vinyl, which is kind of fun, a couple years ago in stereo, and this is also really good. So if you can't find the other one, because it's usually really expensive, find this one. So if this looks familiar, it's because it's the same cover almost as this one that we just looked at. This is by the Centurions, and no one really knows why, but for some reason at the pressing plant, the covers got mixed up and they got pressed with the same cover. They're different albums, but they have the same cover on them. And this one is the rarer version of it, the Centurions version. They're both really good. I highly recommend looking for them. We have Surf Beat by the Challengers. This is actually a really rare record because it has the vocal version of Surfing Safari on it. I guess the band put vocals to that song and didn't like it. So after the first day of pressing, they recalled a couple and then pressed it with an instrumental version. So if you have a version with the vocals on Surfing Safari, you better hold on to it, because it's kind of hard to find. I actually sold a copy to Randy Newart, who is the bassist to this band, because I had 2 copies with the vocals on it, which was pretty cool. This is K39 by the Challengers. Challengers at Teenage Fair. This has one of my favorite vocal groups on it. Tony Harris and the Woodies. They're singing "Do You Want to Dance?" And Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, and it's a really great record. Challengers Go Sidewalk Surfing. Surf's Up by the Challengers. This is a hard one to find. Billy Strange Meets the Challengers. This is kind of like surf stuff and mid-60s kind of jingle jangle guitar kind of stuff. It's very interesting. It's an interesting listen. Pipeline by the Shanties. I got this for $2 in Texas. Chubby Checker Beach Party. This is the Competitors, Hits of the Street and Strip. Very rare record. I'm glad I got it. Dave Myers and the Surf Tones, Hanging 20. This is It's Monster Surfing Time by the Deadly Ones with the mono sticker over top of the stereo. I guess they only pressed this record in mono, and they had a bunch of stereo jackets, so somewhere they printed off a bunch of mono stickers and someone pasted them on there. So this is an extremely rare record. Drag Beat by the Defenders. Dick Dale, Surfer's Choice on the Deltone label. Dick Dale, Checkered Flag. Mr. Eliminator by Dick Dale. Summer Surf with the original 45, which I'm pretty glad I got in stereo. And then this is probably one of the rarest records I have, if not the. This is the Deltones Surf and Stomp. This was only made in Australia. The Deltones were like this doo-wop group that decided to do surf music for about a year. And this is the album they came out with. If you look this up online, you'll only find like 4 or 5 pictures, and they're all just kind of ratty, and there's a bunch of tape on them. I think this copy looks like it hasn't been played. Like I'd say this was like mint condition. This is yeah, I'm really glad I got this record. I think this is probably one of the, if not the nicest copy in existence that I've seen in the 10 years that I've looking for this. So I'm really glad I got this one. I got imported it from Australia, and it was only costing me like $50, so I'm really glad I got that one. Donna Lauren, Beach Blanket Bingo. Drag City and Hey Little Cobra by a group called the Dragsters. Liverpool, Dragsters, Cycles and Surfing. They do Dragsters, Cycles and Surfing good, but the Liverpool is not the best on this record. An original copy of the Fantastic Baggies, Tell 'Em I'm Surfing. This is a great album. I'm really glad I got it on Imperial. And then I've also got these 2, which are only made in South Africa. These are really rare. You probably won't see another one of these ever, probably. They're extremely hard to find. Frankie Avalon, Muscle Beach Party. This is a repress from Sea to Ski by the Glaciers. I haven't looked for an original copy of this just because it's not that good, and it's not my favorite album ever, and maybe if I found it for $2, I'd probably pick it up. Swim with the Go-Go's. This is a good album. Mine's in stereo. These are really easy to find, and they're great albums, so I highly recommend getting this one. This is kind of like lo-fi, just chill, surf, relax music, so this is a good album to look for if you kind of into that. Deuces, Tees, Roadsters, and Drums. This is by Hal Blaine and the Young Cougars. Got a really cool album cover on there. Mine's copies in stereo. It says property of WBLK, which I think was a radio station in Buffalo. So if you know anything about that, I have the copy that used to belong to them. This is a self-pressed album called I Feel Good All Over by Harry Deal and the Galaxies. The best track on here is probably I Feel Good All Over. The rest are kind of meh, but this is an interesting album. I think I have it for sale. If you want to pick it up, you're welcome to check out my Discogs. Go Little Honda by the Hondells. The Hondells by the Hondells. Big Drag Boats USA by the Hornets. This is actually kind of fun. It's got a full color back picture there too, which is always nice. My copy looks like it never got played. I think that it's not the greatest album ever, so I think you could probably find a nice copy of that for pretty cheap. Surfing USA by the Hot Doggers. This is Wipeout by the Impacts. Interesting story about this is the engineer who actually worked on this album also worked with the Safaris when they recorded Surfer Joe, and they needed another song for the B-side, so he recommended, why don't we just make an instrumental called Wipeout, and he did the kind of the weird voice at the beginning and the laugh and the surfboard crack, which you can also hear on this. He did it on both albums. He just took it from one to the other. So it's kind of an interesting story about that one. My Son the Surf Nut by a guy named Jack Marshall, which is a really interesting album. Draggin' and a Surfin' by the Jalopy 5. I Love That West Coast Sound by the Jalopy 5. Jan and Dean Take Linda Surfing. This is a great album cover. This is Surf City by Jan and Dean. Drag City by Jan and Dean. This is probably my favorite Jan and Dean album. It's just got orchestra on it. It's got guitars. The vocals are amazing. This is a fantastic album. Command Performance by Jan and Dean with backing vocals by the Fantastic Baggies, I believe. I've got two copies of this one. This is the American version and this is the Canadian version. You might notice that the school side and the car side got flipped on the two versions. I'm not sure why that is. This was also kind of also got inverted with the colors there, which is interesting. But those are two really great albums as well. Little Old Lady from Pasadena by Jan and Dean. Ride the Wild Surf by Jan and Dean. Jan and Dean's Golden Hits. Folk and Roll by Jan and Dean, which has a rewrite of Surf City on it. Filet of Soul, which has like Honolulu Lulu and Dead Man's Curve and weird things like that on it. And then Popsicle, which is the last Jan and Dean record, released after Jan got in his car crash. It has a couple different songs that hadn't really got put on albums before, and it's just an interesting mix of stuff, so it's kind of fun to listen to. Jerry Cole, Surf Age. Hot Rod Alley by Jerry Cole and the Strokers. More by Kai Winding, who's a jazz guy. It's also known as Soul Surfing, and sometimes on some copies you can see it says Soul Surfing instead of More. They replaced it. Usually jazz and surf music, when they blend it, it doesn't work, but on this it just works. I don't know why, but it's a really good album. Black Boots and Bikes by the Kickstands. This is kind of a grittier Gary Usher thing. If you like the Beach Boys kind of clean vocals and stuff, you probably wouldn't like this, but it's a little bit different. I just bought this. This is Hot Rod High, stereo version by the Knights. I've been looking for this for a really long time, and I saw it on Discogs the other month for like $20, and I bought it right then and there. It had been on for like 1 minute, had been listed for, and I got it, and I'm really excited about it. It sounds really good, so really good album. This is the Custom Kings, Custom City USA, on original Smash label. This is an original 1964 press, and I'm really glad that I got it. This is Surf Rider by the Lively Ones in stereo, which is kind of hard to find. Surf Drums by the Lively Ones. Another Lively Ones called Surf City. And then The Great Surf Hits, also by the Lively Ones, which has like songs from the first 3 albums, and then a couple that you won't find anywhere else. Now this is one of my favorite albums. It is Surfing South of the Border, also by the Lively Ones, and it is just an amazing album. I love, they combine Latin and Latin kind of jazz and surf music, and it just works. I don't know why, but this is a great album to put on. It's something a little bit different to add to your collection. The Marquettes Take to Wheels. The Marquettes Out of Limits. Hot Rod Hootenanny in stereo by Mr. Gasser and the Weirdos. Still looking for the other 2 albums from them. Now this is a repress, but it's a repress that I really like because It is on this beautiful purple vinyl. I've never seen anything like this before. It's just gorgeous. So I'm really glad I got that. The originals are really expensive, so I highly recommend going for the repress on that. This is Surfer's Holiday by the Neptunes. This one I just picked up too. This is Surfer's Slide by Richie Allen and the Pacific Surfers. I love this album. Mine's a promotional copy. This is just a great album. I'm still looking for the first Pacific Surfers album called Rising Surf, but I'm really happy I got this. Go Sound with the Slots, another one of my favorite albums, is slot car music. Mine is looks like it hardly ever was played. Just a great album. Here's something kind of rare, Soul Surfing by the Rhythm Rockers, an original Challenge label pressing from 1963, I think. This is kind of a hard record to find. This next album I like so much, I got two of them. One's in mono and one's in stereo. This is by the Fantastic Baggies, which are P.F. Sloan and Steve Barry, and this is awesome. I love this album. I got the stereo one because you can turn off the guitar on one channel, and then you can just hear the vocals and the rest of the band on the other channel, and then you can add your own lead vocal on top of it. If you get the CD reissue from Sundays, they only have the mono mix on there, so unfortunately you can't turn down the guitar and just hear the amazing vocals underneath, which I really like about the stereo copy, so I'm glad I got both of those. Hey Little Cobra by the Ripcords. Three Window Coupe by the Ripcords. This is She's a Bad Motorcycle by the Risers. This is a Jerry Cole kind of thing. This is The New Mustang by the Roadrunners. The vocal numbers on here are just absolutely terrible, but the instrumentals is where the real magic happens, and it's on London Records, and it's just a great album. This is Ronnie and the Daytonas, GTO. Ronnie and the Daytonas, Sandy. This is a rare record. This is Bustin' Surfboards by the Tornadoes on the original Josie label. This one's really hard to find. I think I got it for like $10, which I was really proud of. But yeah, it's a good album. This is Scrambler by the Sandells. This is actually the Endless Summer soundtrack before Endless Summer got released. It looked like this. Big Surf by the Sentinels. Surfer Girl by the Sentinels. New Sounds of the Silly Surfers. I love the artwork on this. It's so fun. And on the other side too, if I can get this open. Right there. Just a really fun album. Thunder Road by the Superstocks. Surf Route 101 by the Superstocks. I actually just got another one of these. I found it for $10 at a store, so I picked up two of them, but I'm going to keep this one because it's a little nicer. Schools of Drag by the Superstocks. This is their last album. Looks like it used to cost $3.74 right there. This is Wipeout by the Safaris, and the Safaris actually only play on two songs, Wipeout and Surfer Joe. And I just recently learned that the other artists on here, the other 11 or 10 songs on here, are done by the Challengers. Here I have the Safaris play, and then it shows you all the songs that they play. Safaris, Fun City, USA. Hit City 64. I just picked this up yesterday. This is Hit City 65 by the Safaris in stereo. I had a mono copy that was just not really in good condition at all. And so I'm going to be selling that, but I'm going to hold on to this one because this one, it looks like it was never played. It's just gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that, but it's mint and it's still got the original gloss and shine on it. It Ain't Me Babe by the Safaris. This is their last album. Surf Beat by the Surf Riders. This is actually the Challengers in disguise again, and it's a good album. An original copy of Surf Mania by the Surf Teens. This is Andrea by the Sunrays. I'm just really glad I got this album. It's in stereo. It's just, every song on here is just fantastic. I actually have the box set, the Sunrays box set. It's been sitting up there. Yeah, the Sunrays are the best. This is Boss Drag by the T-Bones. It's got a nice cover on the back too, in full color. This is Boss Drag at the Beach by the T-Bones, which is almost the same title, but it's a different album. This is got a really cool cover on the back too, which I really like. Here I have Wheels by the Tokens. You might remember them as the guys who sang The Lion Sleeps Tonight. They tried their hand at hot rod music and made an album in 1964, and it's actually pretty good. It's a nice take on kind of hot rod music, and it's kind of East Coast meets West Coast, and I can't recommend this one enough. This was made to cash in on the last album. It has the Tokens on it, but and they only sing on Short Jump and Lacquered Chopper, but those actually aren't the titles of the songs. The titles are like these 50s doo-wop things, and they just retitled them to make it sound like they were Hot Rod related, but they're not. So don't be fooled by that. And then the remaining 10 tracks are just kind of lame instrumental stuff, so not really necessary. Probably spent too much time explaining that one. This is Beach Party on GSP label, which is Gary Paxton's. This has got some really good songs that you don't really hear anywhere else, so this is kind of fun. This is a promotional album sent out to DJs. It's called The Big Surfing Sounds, or on Capitol, and it's just got some selections. You can see it says Summer 1964 on it. Just got some selections from albums that were coming out that summer that are all surf related. So you got like All Summer Long, Surf Route 101, Dick Dale, Big Surf, Surf Inc., which I don't have, and Jerry Cole's Surf Age. So out of all those, I only am missing one, so I thought I'd just pick this one up anyway. But it's got a great album cover on it. Kind of rare and hard to find if you look for it. This Hot Rod City by the Quads, the Grand Prix, and the Customs, which is actually just Gary Usher and the Challengers having fun together in the studio. Hot Rod Rally, which is also another Gary Usher thing. Original Surfing Hits. This has got some stuff that you don't hear anywhere else, so it's kind of a good compilation to get. Shutdown. This is the album that started it all with the Hot Rod. This is the very first Hot Rod album by Capitol. It's got the Beach Boys and the Superstocks, and then Capitol went like way back in their vaults and found some songs by the Cheers from the 50s and Robert Mitchum and Jimmy Dolan and a group called the Eligibles, and put them all in one package and called it Shutdown, and then it really just spurred on the whole Hot Rod craze. So this is a really good album to have. Winners of the 18-band surf battle, recorded live at the Deauville Club, Santa Monica, California, March 22nd and 23rd, 1963. Friday night winner, Rhythm Kings. Saturday night winner, Dave Myers and the Surf Tones. And it's in stereo. It's kind of a beat-up copy. I need to get a new one. This is generally just called Surfing. It says it has the Beach Boys and the Safaris and Dick Dale, which isn't true. It just has Dick Dale on it, and he's just singing some 50s stuff that he had made that went into public domain. They're not surf related. The Beach Boys are not the actual Beach Boys, and the Safaris are just not the actual Safaris. So, kind of lame. Don't buy this one. This is the only Ventures record that is related to surfing, but it's got some pretty good stuff on it, like Pipeline and Surf Rider. Those are really good songs. Rev Up by the Vets. This is not the reissue. This is actually the original 1964 MGM copy, and it's a good one to have. Although the reissue sounds really good from what I hear. This is the New Sounds of the Weirdos, which is kind of the brother to the New Sounds of the Silly Surfers. It's also got artwork on both sides, which is kind of nice. The Woodchucks, Lee Hazelwood's Woodchucks. Why can't I hold this? Lee Hazelwood's Woodchucks, Cruising for Surf Bunnies. This just got released. It's on blue vinyl. It's a kind of a lost surf record that was just found. They just found the master tapes to this, and it's kind of nice to hear something that you haven't heard before. Dragsville by the Woofers. Pretty good record, actually. I could recommend this one. Just for fun, I'm throwing this one in. It's the Yellow Balloon. I got this for $5. I listened to this a lot growing up, but it's just a kind of really good sunshine pop, very Beach Boys related and influenced. Mine's in stereo. These are usually pretty expensive, but if you can find a good copy that's in good condition for a good price, I'd highly recommend this album. Well, we made it to the end. This is the last record, Mustang by the Zip Codes. Just a fantastic record. This is in stereo. It's got color on the front. It's got color on the back. I love this album. It's a good one to display. It's a good one to play. It sounds great. I highly recommend this album if you like Mustangs or just cars in general. If you can find a copy, it's a good album to get. Well, there you go. That is my collection. If you made it all the way to the end, I'm super impressed. That's a lot of records to go through. Hey, let me know what your collection looks like in the comments. Is it bigger? Is it smaller? Am I missing anything? Do you want to see more like this? This is what I got right now, but maybe in a couple months I'll have a couple more that I could show you as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and click subscribe if you like this, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.